Welcome back everyone to the complete Pineleaf. The turn-ins from reaching Ost Guruth brought me to level 29. So I went out and did all those spider quests I spoke about at the end of the last episode, which means that yes, I do now have my Shire report. So now I can return to the Shire whenever I wish to. And with that done, I am now at the point of the epic story line where I can speak with Radagast the Brown.
Why come you here?
The Eglain let you in, did they? I have been expecting you, though sooner rather than later. You have in fact taken your time. I understand you found something upon Weathertop? Ah, this rubbing. I do believe it is a G rune, a mark oft used by Gandalf the Grey, another of my order. I guess from the description of these 3 lines that he was at Amonsul on October the 3rd, not but a few days past. I too saw the lightning upon Weathertop, and fear that Gandalf found trouble there. I have not seen him since we parted at Sarn Ford, so I can tell you no more of him and his travels. Of this place I can tell you much, but make reason of very little of it. Well, alright, and I get what? Hopefully something decent for a change. Right, Ranger's a light glove. Alright, fine, I'll just take the shield.
Will you help me?
The land itself is turning against us, and I know not the reason why. Even the shepherds are twisted shadows of their former selves. I speak of the bog prowlers, those that tend to the trees. If I can discern what is twisting the shepherds, I may be able to determine what is fouling the land. Bring me the moths that they use for their nests. They roam the swamps to the east of here. Remember, I do not wish to harm the shepherds, no matter how confused they appear. They are innocent victims of the corruption, and know not what harm they do. That said, there's a deed for killing the shepherds, and I am going to have to do that, I believe, in order to do all the deeds within the Lone Lands. So, I guess I'll have to harm a few. And it appears that Hana is having some bad dreams.
Oh dear.
Oh, yes, Frederick worries too much that my sister is away now. Ever since I took the statue of the lady, they have treated me differently. Even the visitor in brown robes treats me differently. They fuss about saying that they need to protect me. I do not know how they can protect me from my dreams. It is true I am frightened come in the morning. I hear the swamp calling me at night. The woman makes the near bog in the swamp sing to me. She is trying to bring me to her, and that is why my sister left, to find her and stop her. She's a bad person. I know she means me harm because her songs sing of blood and death. It is the Nurburg. They sing for her. I don't tell anyone, but I can hear the Nurburg singing my name even now. So,
Will you help me?
we came upon the maiden in the waters north beyond the wall. She was draped in vines and tattered robes and smiled beautifully before she cringed and shook the water apart and drove us from the swamp. She cornered me, though for only a moment, before my sister found me, and I saw the hatred in her eyes. She means me harm, and sends the Nurburg to call me to her. Will you help me? Can you help me? The Nurburg are in the east, in the Bloodmire, rubbing their legs and singing the song she sang to me, calling for me to come. Please help me. Bring me the legs so that I know they will no longer sing my name. So bring Nurbog legs. A little bit loopy there. I'll worry about the oatmeal problems later since that is down in Oatbarton, which is quite a bit away. Though I presume that I will be heading over that way soon, most likely off camera, depending on how things go. Now, it's been a while since I've read the full quest text that Hana gives you there, and I had completely forgotten that the whole thing about the Nurburg has to do with the Red Maid. Now, the bit that we are doing with Radagast here also has to do with the Red Maid. And there are many things in this area, though, of course, that relate to it. There's an entire series of dungeons that relates to, well, Ivar, or yeah, I think it's Ivar, our old friend, I think, who we met at the, I think Ivar was the one who's also at the Great Barrow. Well, whoever the Gaunt Lord is that's in this area, we have the Gaunt Lord there. See, there you go. Let's see how many of these things we need. Boglurker Slayer. 1 of 30, which probably means that we need to do 90 in all. So let's also get a Nurbog here. I should keep track of what's going on in the ground so I can and make sure that I don't give them time to go and dig underground, because when they dig underground it gets annoying. I have only one interrupt still at this level. I gotta keep that. I have to keep track of that, because it's only later when you start to get all those interrupts that you get as a warden and then forget to use them all. Alright, it's not that forgetting to use them all, it's that I sometimes feel like you always need to interrupt something when you have the wrong gambit up. At least that's the impression I get there sometimes. There you go. And I think I can. Yeah, I didn't think that the bog lurkers went around being chained to the Nurburg. There we go. I figure we might as well take care of some of these while we're at it. And who knows, maybe I'll actually be able to finish this particular. Does this also open up a deed? Probably. I don't think I've killed any whites around here yet. Yeah, White Slayer. Another one of these. That, if you have the Amon Sul skirmish, it's not that bad. I just do it as part of, just run the skirmish, and I get plenty and plenty and plenty of those. But we do not have any skirmishes on this server yet. Now, concerning skirmishes, there is a item on the calendar starting in early February. I think it's in 2 weeks from now where it starts, maybe a little bit less than 2 weeks, where they're calling it a skirmish event. Now, since they always have a different wording for the plus 25% marks event that they occasionally have, and that it looks like it's listed for a month long, I would presume it's not just simply 25% more marks or anything like that. I'm guessing that it is some sort of special event involving skirmishes. My current hypothesis, which is going to go down the tubes as soon as they announce the event, see what I mean? Concerning timing on the thing, is I noticed the thing right after I commit my fingers to going past the mark what would be useful. And when you have things with muscle memory, the advantage of muscle memory is you can do it faster, but the disadvantage of muscle memory is going contrary to it just is very, very. Oh, that's a war singer. Oh, I didn't know there was a war singer down in this area. I think it's the war singers I need for the next round of the. Is it the next round of the quest? No, it's 2 rounds from now where you need the war singers. There you go. Actually, those are all the legs I need. Now I just need to find a few more nests and we'll be done. As for that hypothesis I spoke of earlier, my working hypothesis is that it relates to the preparations for skirmishes to come out on this server, because the event is scheduled to end on March 12th, and that sounds about 4 months. Oh, at that time I kicked and he still did. Oh well, but that sounds like my estimate for when this server is going to start having Moria. Now, people I've been hearing are complaining that they haven't made an announcement yet on it, but it's still January, and I think it's still a bit early to. And I think they gave less than a month's notice of opening the server in the first place, so I'm pretty sure they're not going to make any special announcement for Moria more precise than they gave already, approximately 4 months, until they're much closer to the date. Certainly not more than a month before the date. But my guess is that it's to lead up to the release of the skirmishes on it. Maybe they'll even unlock skirmishes here during the event leading up to Moria, perhaps. Or some special event leading up to the release of the skirmishes. That's why I'm wondering about is, are they able to unlock skirmishes here before Moria? Or do they have to wait till Moria? I will say if they can do those two events separately, then my guess is that the skirmishes are going to be unlocked and that they're going to have some sort of celebration for that, and that's what it's all about. But that, of course, is just a working hypothesis. We'll see in 2 weeks. If you see me running skirmishes in 2 weeks here, well, you'll know what the answer is, right? And where are we? Oh, yes. Some more of these. And with that, I have only 2 more remaining. Here are the legs you requested.
What do you need?
They are silent now. I cannot hear them chirping. For your help, Pineleaf, I wish there was more I could do in return. Please take this with my gratitude, and this is... Oh, not... Actually, 180... Now we are still below par compared to what you get in other locations. Well...
Could I have a word with you?
Yeah. That's just a rumor anyway, so I'm not going to read that. Besides, by the time I get over down to Oatbarton, it'll probably be off camera. Here are the samples you ordered.
You have returned, I see.
You've done well. This moss will help me understand how the evil is tainting the Red Swamp. This is but the first step in determining what caused the shepherds to become confused and irrational. There is still more to do, my friend. It will not be easy. Oh, of course, it's never easy.
This reeks of death.
I can smell death in the moss, as if it was plucked from an ancient grave. This stench of decay and evil is not a thing from nature. I believe that the whites are to blame. Whites are the bones of the dead, stirred by fell spirits out of Angmar and Rudar. The wars here long ago made Haragmar as ripe for whites as the Barrow Downs in the west. Return to Haragmar, the swamp in the east, and destroy those foul creatures. If these are whites, I fear there are other fell creatures haunting the swamp as well. For now, though, you need only concern yourself with the whites. Alright, and we shall do so. And killing 15 whites would be useful, and counting toward that deed I've got. While it is possible to find whites all throughout the swamp, as I demonstrated earlier, in the daytime they're much rarer, and I probably killed the few that were left to spawn. or somebody else had also, as you can see. But there should be plenty of whites down in this area in these ruins, and that's where I'm going to be heading, and maybe throwing in a spear or three for a couple of them. There you go. So probably attacking the Arksman from distance is probably not the best idea, since I'm set up for up close fighting at the moment. Now let's see, where are these? Now there's some that are also up the hill here. I don't know why I could just go into that. Yeah, just go into this structure here. There'll be plenty, and plenty in there, unless there's massive players going right through there at the time, cleaning out the place. And a lot of people like to go after whites, of course, because, let's see. Now that War Singer there, I don't feel like fighting that War Singer yet. Now I'll be killing that War Singer plenty of times when times come later on. War Singers are a little bit of a pain. Speaking of War Singers, oh yeah, there's no way I'm going to be avoiding those things. But that's the next quest, is to kill War Singers. Well, here's when I can't avoid fighting this way, because I don't feel like picking a fight that's going to accidentally bring in that War Singer at the same time. Let's see. That's how you do it. Now I'll be sent in here later with some side quests, but I don't feel like doing... I think those are going to take some time to set up, so I'm not going to do those on camera. Ah! Yeah. He likes to summon another one in the middle of combat, so I always have to be careful with him. But he doesn't count as a white, of course. So I presume, but his summoned white does. I suppose I could allow him to summon his friend, and that would bring another white to join in the party, right? Assuming that his friend does count in that. But yeah, inside here, as you can see, you could very easily rack up a total of 15 whites. And I'm sure this is where a lot of people come in order to do their deeding, especially with the skirmish currently not being active. Because if the skirmish is active, easy to do your white deeds. Here, without the skirmish, nope, you're not going to get it. You're going to have to come in here in order to, because I think this is the only place where they are reasonably common in this area. Oh, no, of course, you do have the other swamp. The other swamp where you get sent after this, of course. Yes, that's the other place where there are huge numbers of whites in that area. So there are two major areas. Whoopsie daisy! After this, I have only one more, right? Alright, that's 13. And 14. And just... Oh, and there's a volunteer right now. And at least when I do need to go back to Ost Guruth, I am after level 26, which means that I can port. I've taken care of the whites.
You have returned, I see.
The whites' destruction can only prove to help us in the time to come. Now listen, for there is much more to do, yeah?
This is dire news.
The sheer number of whites in Haragmar indicates the presence of a gaunt man, vile necromancers who serve the Dark Lord. In ages past, the gaunt men dwelled in the witch realm of Angmar, for the White Council believed them all destroyed. Clearly, they were wrong. Only the strongest of the gaunt men, The Gaunt Lords have the power to summon the spirits of the Shadow Realm. The War Singers carry a sigil of their Gaunt Lord. Search the ruins far east of Haragmar and defeat these creatures and bring me their sigils. Then that way we can determine which Gaunt Lord is responsible. Now we saw those War Singers earlier, so now it's time to fight them. There aren't many War Singers around, which is probably just as well because they can get annoying to fight. But that means that I have to go and check those few locations where they are in order to get to them, and then often wait for respawns afterwards. So let's take care of this guy. And now we head up to here. We'll have the first one. Now I already killed a couple back last time. Well, I killed at least one during the last round against the whites. So when you have only one of them and you don't have things pathing into them, they're not that much of a problem. Especially if you can keep them from stunning you and summoning others and stuff like that, which is probably a big if there. Okay, that is one of my I think it's a 100% drop to it, but you have to make sure you kill the right Gauntmen because there are some Gauntmen that aren't War Singers. I suspect that one that we saw earlier way down in the swamp probably wasn't a War Singer. It was something else Singer, I think. Probably something like Gaunt Singer or something like that. If it's called a Gaunt Singer, then it definitely doesn't work. It has to be a War Singer. Why? I don't know, but that's the way sometimes the quests are liberal in what drops, and sometimes they are very, very strict. There you go. Now the next one is the one on the stair. Now there are three in particular that I very often go for. The one's the one that we just killed there. The second one is this one. This is one where I like to... Yeah, see, because you have this deadly bile spewer that likes to path into the area. And because of that, going after that War Singer can be tricky. Because I've had plenty of occasions where that one additional mob... Oop, no, not that one. Yeah, the War Singer is the one I want to attack. There you go. Ah! Alright, that I think was his attempt at summoning a second one. Alright, that's two. And now we know where the third one I often go after is, and that's of course the one right there, even though he has a friend nearby. But that's why I try to take this guy out first, so I don't have to worry about the Gauntman at the same time I worry about the whites. Now, let's see. It's just that he has an annoying pathing. Yeah. Because sometimes he stays close and sometimes he moves all the way across. Now if you have another person, it's pretty easy to get around and all, but I would prefer not to have to fight both at the same time, because if you're distracted by another entity, then you because if he's distracting you in the fight, that means if you're fighting him, that means you're not fighting the Gauntman. If you're not fighting the Gauntman, then he's probably going to summon it, so your fight against 3 then becomes a fight against 4, and yeah, it can be nasty. But it looks like if you're playing a war, and it's not too bad. And he hasn't successfully summoned yet, because usually I wind up having at least one or two cases where they summon that extra one. Now I just have to find two more and we will be done. I must say that usually when I do that quest, I'm usually 27 instead of 29, so that probably helped me there. And the fact that because I'm being completionist here, my virtues are much better than they usually are, and my equipment is a lot better than it usually is. So yes, when you're well equipped and have good virtues, you can rip through this.
There is a gaunt lord here.
These sigils bear the mark of Ivar the Bloodhand. He is a powerful lord of the Gaunt Men, and a dangerous and vile creature. It is he who is behind the corruption of the Red Swamp. Why would a creature such as Ivar travel so far for Angmar? Power, perhaps? But what drew him here? Well, there was a Nazgul getting help from a Gaunt Lord back at the Barrel Downs, so that could be connected. Actually, I think the Witch King sent Ivar here to do stuff here. I think that's one of the reasons why we came here in the first place. So we do have that. I suppose I'll take the boots. They might be useful.
I have a task for you.
The land was the site of many battles in the past. Some say the swamp takes its name from the blood of the fallen men that stains the earth red. But my knowledge of the swamp's history is limited. I do know of a man called Erich. He a wise man of the Eglain, though only by reputation. He is a stone speaker, a scholar who studies the stones and collects knowledge from their markings. Arik knows much of the local lore. Travel to him and ask for his help, as Arik the stone speaker is in Harloeg, which is the other place that's infested with whites. And I think that's where we're going to go the next time we do the epic story, of course. But next week is a bingo episode, and that's where I'll find you for the next episode of The Complete Pineleaf.